Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host of Healthy Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beyond the Gates. These are episodes December 22nd through the 24th. It is a short week. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe, and you can leave your comments below. Let's get into these episodes. Okay, so what you'll probably see, I'm just giving you a disclaimer, I only have right now December 22nd and 23rd because the new episode has not uploaded. This is Wednesday when I'm shooting this video, so I'll have the video uploaded tomorrow, which is Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas to you all. I apologize, I was trying to wait. I don't know when the episodes actually upload on Paramount Plus, but just to let you know what you'll see. You'll see probably some more sunlight when I do record today, Wednesday's episode. But anyways, we start off with Leslie being a busybody and starting to gossip with Ted about Vernon cheating with Sharon, as far as what she thinks it is. Ted doesn't believe it, whatnot. He's a good man, da 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 da. He was in disbelief until Leslie broke him down, saying that when I confronted him about what I saw, he did not deny it. Neither, he also did say that Anita can't know about him meeting up with Sharon. Vernon left it open-ended for Leslie to interpret it however she wanted to interpret it. And of course she wanted to be messy, and that's where we're at. Leslie, after she finally broke Ted down, Leslie now thought she was in a comfortable state to call him Ted Deep, like she always does. And Ted said, no, I want to be called by my real name. And he said, look, just because you told me this news does not make them any more closer than where their relationship is now. And she said, sure, we'll be friends, da 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 da. Anyways, my present to you, because he was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this information that you're giving me, even if it is true? Well, it's a present to you to show Mr. Vernon that he's not so perfect after all, after he was chastising you about you having all these infidelities. And she could have said Bill, but she doesn't care about him since he was the one that chased her out of town. So call him out for his hypocrisy. At Danny and Andre's home, they are putting up a pink Christmas tree. Danny says, oh, this is so perfect, da 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 da. And Andre jokingly refers to her as Goldilocks. Danny says, well, I prefer Leola and the Honey Bears. I did not know this, but there's African-American literature that's like the retelling in black form as far as the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I didn't know that. I might as well look it up and see what's up. So basically the Wiz, but you know, in book form for the Goldilocks and Three Bears story. I thought she said her name, but I'll have to get the author's name or whatever. But look up Leola and the Honey Bears. There was also talk about who has the best tree. There is competition between the Richardsons and all that. Danny thinks that they have the best tree, but over at the Richardson Smith's home, Martin thinks that they have the best tree. Smitty says, you know, it's not about the competition, this is family. And Martin said, do you know who our family is? Everybody in our family is competitive. I'm really surprised at how neutral the family is. They all stick together. Because you're telling me all of these type of fallibles and how all the family members mention different things, but for some reason they never fall out with each other like that. Like there isn't really jealousy amongst each other. It's interesting to see. Anyways, June comes because she's been invited to the Richardson Smith's home for the tree trimming celebration. When June arrives, she comes in and she feels all warm and fuzzy because this is the first time that she's been with her children in years before Christmas Eve. She presents them with presents. I'm surprised that Marty and Smitty didn't have any objections to it, but cool. They are some adorably clumsy ornaments that they had made when they were little, and she presented them, and she was just telling stories of when they were younger as to how that they would celebrate. She talked about a story where she realized it was time to give up the children. She was strung out, and that particular Christmas Eve she had not hung the ornaments and all of that stuff, and she knew that she had to call Child Protective Services. Samantha didn't want June to beat herself up or keep beating herself up about how she functioned as a mother back then. Tyrell, shockingly, acknowledged that he sees the work that she's putting in, and he also says that he forgives her. I thought that was cool. I wish there was, for drama, I wish there was more drama to it, like more complications. Tyrell was the older one, and he was able to witness a whole lot more and at least comprehend at his level. I wish they would have dug more into that, but hey, whatever. Beyond the Gates is totally different, and I feel like a lot of times the show is cookie cutter, and I feel like they're being cookie cutter because it's black folks and you got to have this respectability politics thing going on. And I would love for them to just go a little Melrose Place on us a little bit, get a little wild and crazy. But this is still season 1. Did you guys see that there is a promo for season 2 that's coming up? We got, a little bit over a month before we embark upon a year of that Beyond the Gates has been on air. We're approaching the 200th episode. I wonder if they got anything planned for that. But anyways, there's a new character arriving, if you've seen, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So Eva arrives. She figured it was safe to come over because she knows that Kat will not be attending. And then all of a sudden, Kat walks in the door and says, "And where did you get that idea?" Boom! The star of the family has arrived. And Eva's looking like a sourpuss. I said, there we go. But Kat is the problem. Although I will say this. If I was Eva, knowing that this person only has negative things to say, would I be just looking at her, "Oh, Kat is here"? No. I'd be uncomfortable too. Although I don't see it for Eva, I'd be like, well, it's kind of justified, but I'm glad that she's like that because everybody's catering to her. Kat says, she wasn't planning to come over, but she's destined to go over to Danny's home. However, she wanted to see her brother and his family. Stops by, does her due diligence, speaks with Samantha. Samantha will be going through her cotillion. That is like a celebration for young women and young men thrusting over into adulthood, if you want to call it that way. I remember when I was around that age, and I was kind of offered up to be the male counterpart for a young lady for the cotillion, and I said no. One, I didn't want to be set up for that. Like, I don't know these people. That's a different story for a different day. But anyways, yeah, so she was just giving her advice or just getting Samantha excited for the cotillion that's going to be happening. Hopefully this is actually aired because I want to see that. Eva, she hung back uncomfortably. Ted arrives and she makes an apology to Eva. So everybody around town has been telling Eva, "Oh, you need to suck it up and just get there, get to all these events, and you need to be around Eva and all that stuff." So if Eva has showed up to all these events, would Ted been comforting to Kat? Would he had apologized to her that she had to just stand there? I don't think that Ted is really being a neutral father in this situation. You carry the weight on unifying this family that you have now created, even though you didn't know about your daughter. And you're just expecting people to just jump on board. You carry the weight, and yet you're the one that's acting like Kat owes you and the family and Eva something. Buddy, it's on you. And it's just so crazy that you handle Eva with fragileness, like walking on eggshells to make sure, "Oh, are you okay?" And I understand there's probably guilt and all that stuff, and you do want this girl to feel welcome, but you still have another daughter here who was your pride and joy, and now she has to take a back seat. I don't know when these parents are going to just kind of act right towards this girl, Kat. Even if I don't see it for Eva, okay, y'all got to be more cohesive, and you have got to be the one. I'm not saying that Kat doesn't need to possibly ease up, but you don't make it easy for her. Especially when you know that she's the apple of your eye and how you have brought her up to be. Sorry. He said he also felt awkward because this is the first year that things are different since he tore his family apart. Or really, your mammy tore this family apart due to his negligence and betrayal to his own family years ago. On her way out, Kat was just wanting to know what's going on with Ted for Christmas. He says that he'll be alone, spending Christmas watching football. She promises that she will call him, and she completely ignores Eva and trots on out that door, leaving Eva with the stank face. Eva soon left after her, saying that she's going to be joining her mammy for Christmas. Martin and Ted, they talk a little bit and they sulk at how regretting keeping secrets from their families for so long. Martin reminded that, like, okay, we made it over this hump, and at least now he has this chance to be honest for anything that's going on from now on. And that sparked something in Martin to now act like he needs to be Captain Destroy a Hoe. Smitty has a surprise guest. I think Ted had left at this point. And it's Regina. This is June's sister that we met a couple months ago. The children remember her. And Tyrell called her Auntie Gigi. And she was telling different stories that she had with them around this time for Christmas, and just regular stories, even going to church. Samantha remembers her putting her in her lap in order to keep her busy, had some things around and all that good stuff. It was cool. Anyways, Regina assured June that it was the right thing for her to give up her children. You did it. Regina also invited June to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas with her. And Samantha did request for Auntie Gigi to put the angel on the Christmas tree. Soon June and Regina left to go spend time together. I'm easing up on my triggers that I have in regards to this whole June situation. At least she stopped crossing boundaries, in my opinion, even though it's like, it's cool that you get that time with the children, but I'm glad that she didn't possibly overstay her welcome. I think that Martin and Smitty have let up as far as even how they view June. But anyways, yeah. But I'm glad that she's gone and like spent that time, and she knows that there isn't any more time that is required of them to have her around, even though they're not treating her like that. You know, there's a greater line of respect. At Danny's home, she's bothered that Kat hasn't shown up, and Chelsea said that she and Madison aren't going to be able to show. Naomi shows up, and she's being crabby Abby. We find out that her and Jacob had a fight after spending time together, and it's just like, here comes Debbie Downer, negative Nancy. What's the matter now? Like, ugh. But she won't say why. Anyways, Danny was surprised that this is going on because they're in couples therapy. Jacob walks in and is giving his part as to what is possibly wrong, or even to explain, to try to help Naomi not be upset. Basically, Jacob gave this Christmas present, and she's unhappy about it. It's god awful, and she doesn't understand why he would even do that. And he says that it's this monkey that is popular within Mexico, and really it's representative. It's representing the real gift that he's got for her, which is a trip to Mexico City. So, after that time of her being negative Nancy, now Naomi knows that it was really a planned trip. She feared that therapy was not working, and that because what's going on is that communication is off. So that's why she thought something was wrong with their marriage again, and da-da-da-da-da. And he really was listening and all that good stuff. So now everything's good in the hood. Next thing you know, Chelsea comes because Madison was called to the hospital. And then Kat pulls up and all that good stuff. And what this monkey has is this spray of water, and Naomi ends up spraying her in the face with it or whatever. Kat had to join because Thomas had to work. Da, 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 da. So with Tracy and Sharon, Tracy wants to know what's going on between her and Vernon. Because first Tracy was like, with this phone call, what's going on here? Sharon tried to lie and said that this was a telemarketer, and she said, no, it's not. And she got it out of her, at least that it's about Vernon. Vernon shows up and was wondering, why are they there? And they said that they were surprising Anita for Christmas. And he's wondering, where is Anita? Tracy said that, she's at the hospital getting her test. And Vernon was like, what test? It's for eye exam. Well, she already had that. She's got perfect vision, Vernon says. And then Sharon says, no, it's for hearing. And then, of course, Vernon's not buying that, Tracy ends up saying, well, since she's not here, we will leave until she comes back, But before they leave, I think Tracy, Vernon and Sharon do talk for a minute, Does Tracy know what's going on? And she said, no, nobody knows. And then Vernon had to let her know that Leslie knows. They don't have much faith. However, they're just going to have to hold their breath, hoping that Leslie's not going to tell, as she said that she wasn't going to tell. So Anita, she's at the hospital, and Dr. Ons pronounces that she has triple negative breast cancer. It's a disease which has twice the prevalence in black women than in white women. It's more challenging to treat, and the malignancy spreads faster and a higher chance of returning. So this is going to be a hard battle for Anita to actually face. And Tamara Toomey, whom I've already said, is really doing a great job in how she's handling this cancer storyline. And I was wondering if they're going to go there, and I think they are going to go there if they have given her this strong enough a cancer on her body, especially at how black women have to deal with cancer. My grandmother, she did have cancer. She had heart problems too. I think she had triple bypass surgery before and all that, so I understand it a little bit. She had it when I was younger, anyways. The doctor says that, it's best to start getting the surgery or getting the treatment as soon as possible. She has an oncologist for her to see, and it would be great for you to tell Vernon. She needed to sit with this information for a little bit and ask for the doctor to excuse herself so that she could just tear up and cry. It's a lot to process. She even had Anita get her recorder out and just say just for the doctor, because the doctor's going to be giving her a lot of information. And it's kind of, it's disparaging news, because it's an automatic, at least thought process of a death sentence that's happening. And I gotta say it like this, I'm not speaking death over anyone, but it can feel like a nail in your coffin, getting that type of news. They didn't call it terminal, but they just said, hey, it's a big mamma jamma that you're gonna be facing. Anita later on meets with Tracy and Sharon and tells her about the cancer that's there. She said that she's more scared for Vernon and the rest of the family. Are they going to be okay if something bad happens? I don't know how I'm going to be emotionally, but I think we're going to really go someplace with this storyline. After Anita leaves, Tracy demands that Sharon tells her what's up between her and Vernon. So then Sharon said, okay, I'll tell you. Ted makes his way to Nicole's home, and he ends up blurting out that Vernon is having an affair. All right, so on to Tuesday's episode. While Bill is sipping on his poison cocktail, Haley tries convincing him that they should open their gifts in St. Bart's. But he immediately shoots that down, saying the owners of their would-be house have backed out of the deal. But she's not ready to be shunned during the holidays. Bill actually suggests that Haley knew how things would go when you choose to pursue your best friend's father. Haley counters that and says, he was the one who chased after her. Mel, furious, she walks out, declaring this will be the preview of what it's like to miss me. Now, because of your recent revelations of how you are, Mel, you set this whole thing up. But whatever. Heading to the club, Haley crosses paths with Joey, who suggests that, this is the country club, she should push Bill to pursue governorship, as it would put her in majorly powerful position. Bill texts to say that he's not feeling well, so she exits. When Joy says, "See you later, First Lady," Haley responds, "I prefer Queen." Once home, Haley finds out that Bill wasn't really ailing. Instead, he wanted her home so he could make it clear she's the most important thing in his life. She has doubts, but Bill opens up to her in a way he swears he never did with Danny. He talks about there's this organization that he contributes to, and it's regarding how his mother, the treatment that he's felt towards his family and whatever, that Danny knows nothing about. Haley doubts that, but he said no. He knows about Danny knows about my family, but it's really an organization that I've never really told Danny about because it's very sensitive subject. Nicole and Danny, they get suspicious. Nicole literally first laughs in front of Ted's face when he says that her father's having an affair. Next, she'll tell me my mother's cooking meth in the West Wing. She gets increasingly angry while demanding details. She slowly begins to wonder if it's true, at least until he reveals that his source is Leslie. Dubbing her a textbook sociopath, Nicole ain't buying it. Nicole ends up heading straight to her sister's place, and not surprisingly, Danny too laughs at the idea of Vernon cheating. But as they compare notes, it becomes obvious there is something going on with their parents. They want to storm over and demand answers, but ultimately realize that they have to wait until their parents are ready to share whatever's going on. At the country club, Vanessa and Joey are chummy. Joey is somewhat taken aback by Vanessa's request that he play Santa at the hospital Christmas party. Donnell, who's visiting for Christmas, approaches their table and Joey exits. Donnell tells his mom that while his sister is struggling, he's doing everything he can to be there for her. Donnell admits that since his dad's death, he's been reflecting on the past and wonders if Vanessa's marriage was everything he thought it was. Vanessa admits that over the years that she and Doug became more like friends, and Donnell says that he noticed the closeness between his mom and Joey. Later, Joey returns and learns that her son has urged her to move on. That's cookie cutter to me. Like, everybody's just so fine with everything. It's just perfect. Okay, go on, do your thing. It's just like, to me, that's a little bit fake, y'all. Writers, like, I don't know. It's a little bit weird to me. At Orphogeni's, Ted runs into Shanice, and they catch up while splitting a peach cobbler. Realizing that he has no plans for Christmas, she suggests he feel free to join her family. Later, Ted and Andre share a lovely moment with the nephew presenting his uncle with tickets so that they can attend a football game the way that they used to. Now at home, Anita comes home and tells Vernon, "My love, I've been diagnosed with cancer." As she lays out step by step what she's been through in recent days, he realizes that she's been dealing with all of this on her own. She admits Sharon and Tracy know, because sometimes a woman just needs her sisters. But why he asked, did she shut him out of the important battle of her life? She apologizes and says, "I'm sorry, Vernon, but I don't know how to do cancer." She knows how to do everything else, be strong and all that, but it's just like, this is totally new to her. He apologizes that she was alone during these scary days, and he admits that I am terrified at the thought of losing you. And he says, "But this is not your battle to fight alone. It's ours. And cancer picked the wrong damn family to mess with." That's right, Vernon. "And I don't want Christmas to turn into a funeral rehearsal." But he insists that she's been beating the odds her entire life and will do it again this time. In any case, Anita insists that this will be the best damn Dupree Christmas ever. Each, however, is rocked to the core. And anyone who didn't cry when Anita found her husband weeping does not have a heart. Because Vernon, who was looking at some picture of Anita, started crying. Anita saw it, but she allowed him to weep, and she went into the corridor and she started crying herself. So we are in for a treat as far as acting, but our emotions are going to be crazy around here. Whew. So I'll be back in the morning. Hey, what's up, y'all? I lied. I said that I would have this to you by yesterday, the 25th. I didn't. So I'm here today. Forgive me. It's Friday, and I'm going to review Wednesday's episode. Danny and Andre, they exchanged gifts. They both bought each other snow globes from Las Vegas. Both of them laughed at it, and they said that both of these gifts were appropriate, especially because it's reminiscent of their time that they were in Las Vegas and they got married. Eva and Leslie, they spent time at the country club. They're kind of relishing in the now atmosphere of who knew. Like, look at us. We finally made it to the country club, and they never envisioned that within the next year that they would actually be at this club. So their plans for this day, Christmas Day, is to spend the day watching rom-com movies. Eva, as a gift, gave Leslie a plaque entitled Le Bel Chateau de Thomas. Leslie got Eva a pair of authentic diamond earrings. Leslie also thanks her for forgiving her, because she knows that there's a lot of people that just can't really stand her, and some just have to tolerate her. And she also said that she's going to commit to telling her I love her more. Then Eva gets a text from Isaiah, and she ends up saying, go see that man. We're still living in the time, and probably still safe, at least in the soap opera world, where you're kind of more male identified and you need to go hook, line, and sinker your man, because that's going to be your safety net. So that's where Leslie's mindset is at, and you got to get the man. Eva and Isaiah, they ended up meeting at Uptown. He said while he did go to Christmas dinner with his family, he was still treated as the problem child. Isaiah said that he was still grateful to Eva as far as when she talked him into going. His mother had been glad, that's the silver lining, that he had been there. So then later on, Eva brought Isaiah to her apartment. They were flirting with each other at Uptown, and it continued to be a flirtation type of deal, even going back to Eva's apartment. She showed the actual stocking that she was talking about while they were at Uptown. Isaiah said that Eva had the face of an angel. Would everybody say that? And wondered what she was doing with a bad boy like him. Eva compared him to candy. Hard on the outside, but gooey and tasty on the inside. Isaiah had had her set on his lap to tell him what he wanted for what she wanted for Christmas, meaning like this whole Santa and that bit, sit on my lap. And next thing you know, these two kiss passionately, so it looks like possibly they're about to go all the way as far as having sex. Naomi and Chelsea, they sit down at the country club, just having come from Bill's home. They were all in, it's over with. Now they're able to complain as to how they actually felt about being there, because she was trying to be on their best behavior. They complained about Haley trying too hard for the holiday meal that ended up making them feel sick. They ended up sipping some peppermint milkshakes to settle their stomachs, and ended up making a connection to Chelsea and all that, and the Santa ho ho ho, she's a hoe, but saying we're glad that we're getting to go on over to Gran and Grandpa's place. At Ted's hotel room, which I'm really trying to figure out why he's still in this hotel room. I'm glad that he can afford it and all that good stuff, but I'm like, at least get some type of apartment at this point. But anyways, I guess you like it. Ted is shocked when Kat stopped by, and she had his favorite pizza. It's a pizza, I think it was pepperoni with pepper, regular pepper, and red pepper flakes. He was supposed to be watching football, which is his normal tradition for a Christmas, but the Wi-Fi is out, so it got turned into a Scrooge marathon, basically. That was the only channel that was working. He did acknowledge that he was thinking of his family in regarding to the past Christmases that he's used to. Kat ends up leaving so she can go on to the Duprees, and she was winking, saying that she knows that she's his favorite daughter. Ted did not acknowledge that and basically gave her pleasantries and wished her on the way. Next up, that comes by Ted's place, there are 3 people that came by. The second one was Leslie. Leslie shows up with a mistletoe, thirsty as she'll always be. Ted said, you know, it's best that we have come to this place of where we have become friends. Meaning, don't push it. So, since Leslie didn't get her wish or whatever, she ends up giving Teddy Bear, as she called him, a kiss on the cheeks. She leaves. However, in the hallway, she sees that somebody's coming up. So she goes and hides. She spots Shanice. And she's the third woman to come to Ted's home. And she said, when did this heifer start making house calls? So, if this is a way to re-amp up Leslie's cray-cray, I'm all here for it. Because this whole, now I'm reformed and you didn't really do anything on the show. No. You ran over someone and you got away with it. You tried to kill someone and you got away with it. So, when Shanice shows up, Ted is surprised also. Shanice brought Ted a homemade pie from the batch she reserved for her friends. Then Ted said, Ted asked, you know, is that what we are? Friends? At that point, Shanice had took off her coat and she has this flattering outfit on. And she says, for now. I said, oh, okay, Shanice. They ended up watching Scrooge and eating pizza and pie. All right, at the Duprees, Anita was just envisioning at how she needs Christmas Day to be. It has to be perfect and all this good stuff. Vernon says, and next year, after she got done with her speech, next year will even be better. Basically, acknowledging a little bit of the cancer thing, but getting right up out of it to just say you got something to look forward to. Sharon and Tracy, they arrive. Anita announces to them that she's not going to tell her family until after Christmas. Nicole drops by and begins to shade Sharon due to the news that she's now fallen for via Ted, who got it from Leslie. She starts making these cold and cryptic comments. It was just like this nice, nasty type of exchange. As Vernon shared a private moment with Sharon, Nicole asked Anita to tell her more about this friend, Sharon. I feel like Nicole is being hypocritical, but we'll move on to the next thing and then I'll come back and say what I need to say. The rest of the family arrives and gives gifts to Anita as in the form of competition because they want to have the best gift. Chelsea and Kat gave a new custom-made bag from Chelsea Cat, and it's called Anita Baby. Nicole's gift was a trip to anywhere around the world that they wanted to go, and basically everyone said, you won, Nicole. There was another gift for Vernon for his every speech that he has made. They put it in like this notebook situation that had custom leather on it and all that good stuff. He was appreciative of that because a lot of it seemed to be more geared towards Anita and all that good stuff. So then at this point, Nicole couldn't stand it any longer. She took Danny to the side and says that it's time to tell Mom. I said, what? Danny says that let's not ruin Christmas. Nicole says that we don't want Mother to be blindsided with betrayal. And I'm like, Nicole, you just said probably a month or so ago to Kat, oh, well, you stood up for Eva and said, well, there's no way that Eva could have came in between you guys and was able to have sex if they were having a good relationship. Meaning that their relationship was sour, so that's why Tomas gets the excuse to cheat. I said, Nicole, so now this one, you need to be protective and you need to be there for Anita, and you're going off of assumption and you don't even have no proof, but you're ready to pull out all the daggers on that. And no, that's not cool. That's not cool how you treated Kat. And you owe Kat one of the biggest apologies. You're a hypocrite and you're a fake and a phony. And Kat is well in her right to feel the way that she feels about her family. And she still shows up for you raggedy people. Just like she showed up for Ted. She came to see about him. He didn't even come to see about her. The grandma is the baby. Anyways, while Nicole and Danny are talking, Anita walks up on them and asks, what's up? And then they try to prepare her and say, you know, there's something about Daddy that she needed to know. And suddenly a voice comes out and starts singing, joy to the world, the Lord has come. Anita recognized the voice and was so shocked, of course, because now Vernon is singing. So then it's finally revealed Vernon was having secret voice lessons, professional voice lessons from Sharon. Of course, that's what we guessed for months, even though people were really going crazy about everything. But anyway. Oh, and then Nicole and Danny had to look at each other like we were really about to ruin our parents' marriage over a rumor. Crazy. Egg on her face. But yeah. After that, he says that I have another song for you. The family did join in on the Joy to the World. They sang the second verse to it. And then he said that this song I think is very important and necessary. It's a song that's entitled Never Can Say Goodbye. It was made popular by the Jackson 5 back in the day. And then also made popular again during the disco era by Gloria Gaynor. She's the one that sings, "At first I was afraid, I was petrified, thinking how I'm gonna live without you by my side." Yeah, that song. But she made it popular again. She put a disco beat to it and whatever. So then next thing you know, Vernon shows his pipes. And if you did not know, Mr. Clifton Davis is the one who plays Vernon, is the one that wrote this song back in the day. Never Can Say Goodbye. Anyways, yeah, I was just so glad to hear that. You know, Clifton Davis can sing all along, but Vernon couldn't sing. So anyways, I think Beyond the Gates has ended on a good note. There's a new cast member that's joining, Jordy V. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. I've known him since watching him on The Guiding Light back in the day. His character was named Tony. Then he moved over to, I think, All My Children, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, and now he's made his way over to Beyond the Gates. And it looks like him and Ashley are going to be going hot and heavy. It's something that some of these folks are getting their dream folks, and Cat's still with Tomas. But anyways, that's all I got. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy holidays. It'll be like this on next week too. They're going to be on, I think, for either 2 or 3 days, and we'll have these recaps well before the weekend. You know, I usually give them to you on Sunday, so I'll definitely have that to you. But anyways, happy holidays to you. If I don't see you until 2026, Happy New Year. And until then, peace.